Nigeria's education system, which comprises of different sectors from the basic to tertiary education, is known to have faced a lot of challenges and is very far from being a model system. On this particular episode of Deep Dive, we'll be discussing the issues and the problems in the system, as well as the possible ways to solve this with our guest, who happens to be the founder of Noble Groups of Schools. So I don't think you want to miss this. I'm your host, Mandy, and this is Deep Dive, exclusive to MyColor TV. We'll be right back. He is an author, a public speaker, and also the founder of Noble Groups of Schools. He's also a business and communication coach.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, there's no doubt that we have educational problems in Nigeria.
Sure.
And that's what we're trying to talk about here. The first question I'll ask you, which a lot of people don't tend to ask themselves, is if you are the president of Nigeria, what's the one thing you're going to fix about the education sector?
You see, I believe that our education sector is only responding to our system. Now, we need to create a system that rewards competence and not certificates. Now, why our educational system is more or less focused on churning out graduates that the only thing they can show is the certificate is because our system here in the country rewards that certificate. So if I should be the president, I will create a system that rewards what you can do. That's what China is doing. That's what Singapore is doing. That's what US is doing. That's what these developed economies are doing. They created a system that rewards you for what you can do, your competence, and not the paper you are carrying, which is the certificate. So if I am the president, or if the presidency, or if our governors, or anybody there can begin to reward what people carry inside them, the ability they have, and not the paper, you will find out that the educational system will begin to respond to that. You get the point? So we have the system first of all, then the educational sector begins to respond by creating people that have competence and not just certificates.
Okay, looking at the problems we have in the sector,
yeah.
Do you think that our major issue is the curriculum or the lecturers?
I think the curriculum determines the lecturers. Now, what the lecturers do is that they are given the curriculum and they prepare the students based on the curriculum. Now, if our curriculum was competence-based, 21st century-based, our lecturers will naturally gravitate towards that. The problem is that we have a curriculum that is based on the 18th century theories. I keep telling people that one of the issues we have in Africa is that we are teaching 21st century students 18th century theories. Now, these are the things that are in our curriculum, and I keep telling people that our present educational system in the country was created by maybe our colonial masters so that there will be employees. Back then, there were factories opening up. They needed employees that will fill those positions. Now, they created this curriculum so that you go to school and you naturally look for a job. This curriculum is not really for you to begin to think, what business can I start? How do I employ people? How do I raise funds? How do I go global? How do I copy best practices? What is happening in China? What is happening in the UK? How do we bring it down here? Most of the time, if you go to our universities and ask them, what do you want to do after graduation, after NYSC? The normal thing is, I'll go look for a job. Because this is what is inside. This is garbage in, garbage out. So I believe if we handle our curriculum, make it 21st century compliant, not this, it is, well, we are in the sector, I am in the sector, I have a school, like you know. So I went to school, I did computer engineering for 5 years. And I've tried to relate what I was studying in school for 5 years with what is happening in real life. And I can tell you that I tell people maybe not up to 15% of what I learned as a computer engineer, but I'm not practicing. But if they say, oh, you're practicing with what you learned, those things that our lecturers taught us, you can't even repair an earpiece. Talk more of working on a laptop. Yet we are computer engineers. So our curriculum is so outdated.
Okay.
And how can we not expect the students that were groomed or trained for 5 years or 4 years under that curriculum to be able to solve 21st century problems?
So change the curriculum,
Yes.
solve the issue.
Yeah.
What are 10 things you're going to fix if you had the power in the education sector in Nigeria?
Well, like I said, the area we need to start in is the curriculum. If we sit down and look and ask ourselves, where do we want to take our nation to in the next 5, 10, 15 years? Okay, this is the kind of manpower we need to achieve that. Then we need to craft our curriculum, starting from the primary school, starting from the nursery school, the primary school, the secondary school. We need to ask ourselves, okay, we want people that are not just coming out to look for jobs. We want people that are not just coming out to, maybe they want to travel abroad. We want people that are coming out to deliver. People that can enter into the agricultural sector and produce things. People that can begin to manufacture cars. People that can produce some of these things we are importing. People that can go into media and do stuff. People that can create our own social media platform. This is what China is doing. Here we just consume. So we need to start from the primary school. In our last Noble magazine, I said that we need to start from our nursery schools to teach our students how to be producers, how to be employers and not consumers and employees. So if we get that right, that this is what we want to inculcate into our kids, then we can now look at other nations like Singapore, US, UK, that have done these things, and we can now model what they are doing. For instance, many of the companies in the world no longer ask you for a certificate before they employ you. Many of the media houses no longer ask you, what did you study, or did you come out with first class or something like that. They put you in the system and they want to see you deliver. You get the point? So if I was there, I would like to model this global giant in the educational sector, Singapore for an instance, and ask them, how did they do it? What were the things they put in place? How is their curriculum working? Import these things, then refine it. It's not about importing it, but refining it to sit into our own local balance. And if you look at these things, if we work on these things for 2 decades, our unemployment problem will come down. All this unemployment, joblessness, political issues, because when youths are not educated, they cannot fit into the system, so they're now going to cyber crimes, Yahoo, all these things we see happening. So we really need to work on these things, what we put into the heads of our people. Because the educational sector, when parents give birth to kids, they surrender it to the teachers. And it is these things that has been there in the curriculum that is imported into the brains. And like you know, it's garbage in, garbage out.
Okay, so in the midst of, in bid of fixing that problem,
Yeah.
do you think that sector needs more money or more people?
We need both.
Okay.
We already have a lot of people. But the issue, like I keep pointing out, is it is still this same system that created the people. We have a lot of teachers that teach English language and use Igbo language or our normal indigenous languages to communicate these things. So I don't think really we don't have money in the system. I don't also think we don't have manpower. But I think these things are not channeled or they are not upgraded I don't know how to put it, but we have human resources that cannot deliver what the 21st century needs.
Okay.
Do you get the point? I keep asking myself, my staff, if I place my English teacher side by side with a teacher of English in the US, because it is what my teacher has that he or she gives to my students. If I place the person side by side, can the person really compete? Do you get the point? If I place somebody that teach arts for me, does the person actually know what art is all about? Does the person know the business dimension of these things? So not just that we need more people, we need to train those people we have so that they will have competence. Do you get the point? We have money. I see the federal government bringing out millions, billions. They buy infrastructure. Occasionally they change tables for teachers, especially the teachers in the public sector. Those of us that are playing the educational game in the private sector, we are finding it very tough. Well, let me not get into that. But then we already have the money. I don't think we are lacking money. We also have people, but these things still doesn't meet global.
It needs to be upgraded.
Yeah, especially the manpower.
Okay. Oh, so coming down to tertiary level, I know a lot of you out there are very, very happy with this next question I'm going to ask. But then, do you think Jamb or post-UME examination should be scrapped out?
Well, you see, our system, we have a lot of issues. I keep asking myself, we put a lot of money into Jamb to make sure that our Jamb, the institution, is working. And normally, the Jamb has the task of screening students coming out from secondary school, ensuring that they are able to fit into our universities. Now, a little child should understand that even when our Jamb sector or the exam should be enough to determine if a child is qualified to enter into a university. Now, I still don't understand why universities should have their own post-UTME, or it's just...
But don't you think the universities are having their own post-UME, UTME examinations because the standard and the cutoff of Jamb keeps dropping?
Okay,
like,
if we
dropped from 200 to 180, and I think the last time was 150.
See, if we say that the universities are right to have what they're having, then we should also accept that Jamb has failed. Because if an institution is created to vet those entering into universities, then give them admission into these universities, then they should agree that they have failed. Then let us allow the universities to now take over. You get the point? So if you want to go to UNN, for instance, you go and write the UTME, you then enter. No need to write Jamb and then go over to university and write again. It's confusing issues. Either the universities have failed, or they are in need to make money, or they are in need to stress students, or maybe Jamb should surrender to the federal government and say, we have failed. Let the universities take over.
But amongst these two, just like originally asked, amongst these two, which one do you think should drop and which one should continue?
Let Jamb go. So that if I want to go to Unilag, I go to the school and write the exams, and if they deem me qualified, I enter.
Okay.
Do you get the point? So let it be that students have a point of contact with the universities first, without this middleman. I just feel that Jamb is maybe it's just a middleman. It's just a no-go area. It's like a fat man in the system. It's like a mountain that has refused to move. If you are there, then perform the function that you are there. Let our universities trust you. I believe that Jamb has lost the trust of our universities. That's the reason for all this UTME. And then people still pay. You get the point? To write this exam, people, I know I had to travel from my place to Newe to write Jamb. Then from there, I had to come back to universities and write their own UTME. So let Jamb go.
Okay, all right. So going through, I have to round up here. We don't have that much time. Yeah. Going through your profile, I saw business and the communications consultant, and from everything you're saying, I think I would dash you also education consultant.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to get across to you to get your point on anything, or to work with you, where can the person find you on social media space?
Yeah, just go to Facebook.
Okay.
search for Samson Oko. I'm always there. I'm on Facebook. I'm more of a Facebook person before we go to Twitter and all the rest. But look for me on Facebook. And you can also like my page, Samson Oko, then our Facebook group, CCN Africa, Content Creators Africa, and we'll be there.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
God
It was a
bless
pleasure having you.
Thank you.
So that's a wrap, guys. Our educational system, the problem is not going to be solved once. It's a gradual process, and as I said, it's all about upgrading the curriculum, upgrading the resources we already have, and the manpower. Till next time, if you have any topic you want us to discuss on this show, you could drop it in the comment box below. And if you have a comment on this particular conversation, you could also drop in the comment. I would like to see it. Until next time, I'm your host, Mandy, and this is Deep Dive, exclusive to MyColor TV. Bye for now.
Life in living color.